Hello everyone, welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. This should be a relatively short session here today. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. Halvening day for Bitcoin. Woohoo! Unfortunately for the crypto community, which often I find the case, market's gone and topped out a little bit of ahead of the event. So probably going to be kind of sideways, I think, for the next little while, but we'll see what happens. Looking at the broader market, I even put out a comment to this effect here today. I'm actually quite interested in this US dollar now resolving bullishly. I spent a lot of time in the daily brief talking about how the euro is looking very dangerous. Japanese yen's just falling out of bed here. And I'm wondering whether there's a big bullish AB equals CD. The bot levels are lining up perfectly off of this double bottom here. And, if you have three lows to risk against, look at these hard candle body closes. We got a bunch of them here now, eh? So if this double bottom does confirm, I'm actually thinking US dollar could crank a hell of a lot higher here. And that would make sense because what I'm hearing is all of these countries have opened back up. I even heard today, a new hotspot of coronavirus just popped up in Wuhan. Oh no, not back there again. So, by all means, we kind of went through the calm after the storm and things like stock markets. I've been talking to you guys about how this currency sort of picture has been calming. In a weird sort of way, I was talking to the community today. This actually looks very similar to my billiard ball theory, which suggests we have a big move up top here, and then actually we have a move back down. So, this might be sort of our July kind of, oh boy, end of June, beginning of July. I suppose that's a little bit early for that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking here now, people. So be aware of that. Risk on, risk off. As I said earlier, things are relatively calm, but pointing higher for stocks. I actually went and bought another stock today. I'll tell you a little bit about it in a bit. Some of obviously the crypto stocks that jumped up on Friday, they've obviously come back down to earth quite a bit here today. So I'm not buying any crypto stock, that's for sure. But you can see how we've consolidated off of this AB equals CD objective, and it sure feels like the stock market wants to press higher. We'll see how that goes. Bond market looking basically sideways again, but back to looking heavy, and we've sort of talked about this. The U.S. federal government has come out and said that they are going to issue a lot of U.S. Treasury bonds. Of course, they live in a deficit world, so it's kind of unconscionable. And at some point, the emperor will discover that, or the public will discover the emperor turns out doesn't have any clothes on, but for the time being, if the U.S. government can sell a whole bunch of new bonds with interest rates as low as they are and prices as high as they are, actually I think it's in their best interest. And I've talked to you lots that I actually expect literally a 35-year trend of rising interest rates to start somewhere in here. Maybe this ultimate crazy blow off top was finally that event. I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. If these big honking longer term M's start coming in, then we'll know that the pivot is in. Crude market, I kind of think crude market's just going to go dormant here, but we'll see what happens. Basically a little bit uppy on the day here today. And interestingly enough, gold down a little bit on the day. And I wouldn't be surprised to actually see the gold market actually also too kind of just go sideways here for a bit. We'll see. If new M's do come in on this gold, then you'll know that whatever rally we were thinking about earlier is died. If these W's can hold and the markets start turning back up, especially through this recent W here, then the bulls got the ball, right? So you can see I was a little leery about this gapping price action. Now we actually have some hard candle bodies to work with here. So I don't mind gold bugs coming in against these lows and picking up longs to trade to the upside. But, I've talked to you lots. I really don't like the idea of investing in gold right now. if you're going to invest in sort of one of these hard commodity assets, this is a safe haven. I personally prefer Bitcoin, but the problem is Bitcoin price is way far away from value. Kind of exactly like I think the average cost of production for gold companies is about $1,000. So quite literally, there's about a 70% premium in the gold price right now. Just be aware of that, folks. It is what it is. Looking at the stock market again, risk on, risk off, you can see the junior market is still catching a bid. So as long as this keeps painting higher highs and higher lows, I think the stock market's going to be dragged higher. Risk proxies are going to be bid up. The question ultimately here is, do we go and M out here? If this M comes in here, then, that's it for the seasonal rally in the stock market. Little name in the pharma sector that I went and picked up here today, just because, Brian, almost exactly the same logic as that Mara I was telling you about. Hopefully you can all see the W's here. Hopefully you can also see that, gee whiz, this thing has fallen an awfully long way. So is it worth my while to go and take a shot off these W's, just looking for a pop up into this area to get a double and some free stock? I think so. So I did. Brian. The one good part about me is I'm an open book. If I lose money on this, I'll be telling you, I got stopped out, motherfucker. And if I make money, then I'm going to be like, look at me, I'm so cool. Maybe not. All right, heading on over to the corn in particular. As we've been talking about on the broiler chicken show and all that kind of fun stuff, I still am thinking this kind of scenario playing out. Got the big dump prior to the halvening. Sort of thought it had to come. Indeed, it did come. Came a lot later than I was expecting, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, it did dump. Notice the counter trend rally here comes back up to 61.8. Notice also, too, a lot of sort of flirting. But the irony of it all is that I actually think price, ironically, I mean, maybe not at this level, but I wouldn't be surprised if even like a couple weeks from now, you actually find price is almost exactly where we are right now. And then right now we are in the sort of post dump. Is this the low? Do we have to go lower? 38.2s are a bit lower, so I could see the market go lower. Does this have to create an AB equals CD? And we're sort of kicking around this on the site. We might even get like bearish bot setups off of this move. They'd be lower time frame, obviously. But it's something like that, right? And that would actually make more sense to me back against key support, 50% rule, 38.2s, all that stuff kind of all cleaned up. But we'll see. I mean, if this is the low, then really I'm looking for a move back up into this mountain man level roughly. Right there to there. So that would be 9,300. If we have to dip all the way down to this AB equals CD before we start our counter trend rally in earnest, then probably looking for about 9,000 as this consolidation range. So we'll see how it goes. And we've broken. We have the fundamental event here. It is now. Happy Halvening Day. Way to go, Bitcoin. And now, once this fundamental event is done, now we actually have to sort of let price settle down, and let's try and find another fundamental driver. So I'm not quite sure what the bullish fundamental drivers are now, to sort of dictate what our next course is. For now, there's just nothing to do here for a guy like me. Just got to hurry up and wait. Do we M out here and then start crapping out in earnest? Maybe. Do we W out here and trend continuation way or higher? Could be. Getting into the business of making predictions in the future is probably not in your best interest. Let's let this develop and then tell us through things like market structure that it's actually decided which way it wants to go. And unfortunately, if we look at something like Ethereum, for example, it has told us. And I spent a lot of time in the daily brief today saying it is very, very difficult for me to make a bullish case for Ethereum. We've got nasty volume failures here. We've got horrific divergent failures here in price momentum. We have, classic second trend line fails on RSI, setting up violent trades. Kaboom! And of course, you don't even know if this is done. I mean, I've just drawn this off of this level, but hell, maybe we have to come all the way back down to this trend line before we're done here. I don't know. But I'll tell you, this M and then the chaotic resolution of this M actually says we have to go all the way down to about 115, 120 bucks. Yeah. So, no doubt about it, there is no reason for me to be bullish of Ethereum here whatsoever. Hopefully over the next few days, weeks, I can start seeing this clean up, but that is just an absolute train wreck as far as I'm concerned. So, there you go. Merry Christmas. And you can see Litecoin, same thing. Big, fat, nasty M's, bear volume impetus, big M's in OBV, bearish divergence in price momentum, price momentum oscillators rolling over hard. There ain't nothing to do on the bull side here whatsoever. Whoa, wonderful. Awesome message, Brian. Thanks. Just sort of finish this off. We like to follow things like the perp index if you wanted to trade the altcoins. And what I see here is we sort of talked you through this bullish bot. Move stop to scratch, move stop to trailing. We talked about moving stops up as these lows developed. We did have, just like Bitcoin, we did have the prettiest little inside bar failure there. Suppose if you were super slick on moving your stops up, you'd probably hop there. That would be like total all-star trading. I think on balance, if you had your stop against this low, that's not a bad idea. And even if you still had your stop against these lows, not a bad idea. And sure enough, boosh! Those long setups are now been told politely, get the hell out of here. So, back on the sidelines, back sort of just sitting there twiddling our thumbs. And we have to wait patiently for the next setup. And my hunch is, for whatever it's worth, I got a funny feeling we're probably going to be heading back down into this area. But we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. All right, everybody. Hope you got some value out of that. Congratulations to Dina, I think it is, Dina, for winning our raffle yesterday. If you're not on the site and you're still watching this free video, get your butt on the site and let's get you rocking and rolling here. Congrats, though, on the win of the raffle. And, of course, if you didn't win the raffle but you were thinking about joining, which we had a ton of people do last night, we saw a ton of signups, you better get off your butt and register because we're getting awfully close to the point where we have to just close the doors, guys. So this is the sort of the formal start to the program. I would really hate to hear that you guys are coming in a week from now and still wanting to participate, because that's not really setting yourself up for success. So if you're going to do something, you better do it now. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best. BMA for the win. Remember what your number one job is. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, Brian. All right, toodaloo. Bye for now.